hits the
I'm Olivia. And I'm Taylor. And today we're going to do the marshmallow. Now I'll read it. Now time.
It's the Terp Quad here at Xfinity Center as Maryland will meet Penn, New Hampshire, and Brown on the Terp Senior Day. A lot of gymnastics coming up today. Happy you can join us on this Sunday afternoon on Big Ten Plus. I'm Shane Connick, glad to be joined again by longtime NCAA commentator Christina Chauvenet. And Christina, great day of gymnastics here. Maryland, number 25 in the country, and another chance to prove itself this year.
Absolutely. You know, Maryland definitely coming in as the favorite here, currently ranked 25th in the country with a 196.395 national qualifying score. The challenge for Maryland today is going to be, can they push towards that 197? We've seen them score in the mid-196s all season, getting a look at the Maryland coaching staff there, led by Brett Nelligan, and can they really break into that 197?
As for the other teams that are here today, a lot of them have seen each other recently. Penn and New Hampshire squaring off in a duel earlier in the week, and you've seen all of them.
Absolutely. I was on the mic for 3 out of 4 of these teams on Thursday, so going to be really exciting. New Hampshire not quite had the consistency that Maryland has, but they did score 196.55 a few weeks ago, and that's right in that scoring threshold with Maryland. So on the right day, they can really push Maryland. And then really exciting to see these two Ivy League rivals coming in, Penn and Brown, right on their heels. They come in evenly matched. Brown narrowly edged Penn for the Ivy Classic a couple weeks ago after Penn coming in as the favorite. Penn has the edge statistically. They have a little higher NQS, pushing 195 there. They're ranked 51st. Brown's ranked 61st in the country with a 193.615. Those are the daily results as they are updated on Road to Nationals.
That was the 5th Ivy Classic title for the
level of Ivy League gymnastics just keeps improving, and I'm so excited to see these teams here. Also, for our college gym news listeners, this is a new Leo for Maryland. Little Leo alert. I talked to associate head coach Erin Dooley before the meet. She said this is their black and white. They all don't often have white in their Leos, so wanted to do something a little different. I gotta say, I love it.
Yeah, excited we get to see him close Maryland in the black and whites that you see right now. Starting off on the floor, it's gonna be Brown.
Yeah, and Brown, we're going to have Ella Pooley starting here for Brown on floor. Brown, you know, this isn't statistically their best event on floor. They have had some struggles throughout the season, but one of the things that's going to be really exciting to see is that they have Julia Bedell anchoring this rotation. She's got a huge full in. She tied the program record earlier this season.
So on the vault for the Terrapins, Josephine Kogler will be going first. At the Temple Quad, she had a 9.875.
And they were on fire at the Temple Quad on vault. Got their second best program score ever, 49.3. So we'll see what they can do today.
At 49.3, a season high for the Terrapins. Josephine Kogler set her season high with a 9.875 then as well. She'll go first, then it'll be Taylor Reck, Reese McClure, Olivia Weir, Emma Silberman, and Alexis Rubio for the Terrapins on the vault, and then Samantha Gilbert in an exhibition.
And Kirsten Belkoff, who you can see in the corner there leading things off from Penn. We're going to try and bring you as much action as we can today.
On the Brown, who has started off on the floor now, is Kogler.
Quite as controlled as we saw from her on Thursday, but still nice full twist of Yurchenko in the air.
And right here on the beam,
that's Kirsten Belkoff finishing things off for Penn on beam. And Summer Simpkins getting things started for New Hampshire on bars.
Meanwhile, on the floor for Brown, starting it off is Ella Poli.
And Rek, another one of those athletes doing the full twist to Yurchenko, starts out of that 9.95.
Floor exercise just finished, and it looks like it's just about time for Taylor Rek, second up on the vault for Maryland.
Alyssa Rosen getting started for Penn on beam in the background there. Nice full twisting Yurchenko there for Rek. Not quite as nice of body shape as we'll see later in the lineup. Doesn't quite get as much height as I'd like off the table, but still really solid vault.
So back on the beam for the Penn Quakers, it's
and this is Alyssa Rosen on beam for Penn. And does that difficult punch front. Good control there. Really difficult jump here when you start on the side of the beam like that. Handled it well. Nice stuck landing there for Penn. And Leah Moreno just wrapping up on bars for UNH as well. Reese McClure set to go here for Maryland on
your day. On the floor for Brown right now, it is Umi El-Maman.
Nice routine there from El-Maman. They rested her at Ivy Classic. Good to see her back in this lineup and really nice dance elements in that routine.
So back on the balance beam.
And this is Kristen Kuhn for Penn. Love that mount, so creative. Good control of that wolf turn.
Just had a vault for the Terps.
Another nice vault for Maryland. Kuhn, such a dynamic beam worker. Handles that combination nicely. Good stretch. And I like her patience. She was off in that aerial, but really was able to correct it in the movement and minimize that deduction. Gearing up for her dismount here. One of those athletes doing the back handspring to gain her full. Oh, and just under-rotated, has to take that step forward, but what a pretty beam worker.
So back to the vault. It is Emma Silberman now is up 5th for the Terrapins.
And a little deep cut for gymnastics fans out there. She does the full the way around. So just an interesting in how that rule is written in the code of points, even though it's known as the full on. Really tricky to get that all the way around. But I love seeing that different entry onto the table. Alyssa
Back
Bollier
to the
here.
bars. Kennedy Brown past her. Alyssa Bollier up 4th.
Bollier, the all-arounder for New Hampshire. And New Hampshire, one of those teams coming off that Thursday meet. So talked to Lindsay Bruckayat before the meet and said, you know, they really just tried. They got into the Maryland gym yesterday, did a little bit of light stretching and just kept things loose. Try not to train too heavy for that quick turnaround. Nice Jaeger there. Just a little shy in that bail to handstand. Full turn into double back. Nice job.
Impressive landing there.
Yeah, just a couple of minor form breaks throughout that routine, but really nice routine for New Hampshire.
Here is Alexis Rubio.
Wow, that's the best I've seen her do that landing this season. You know, she can put that, one of those athletes that can put that full into the rafters.
Terrapins are fired up after that performance to close out Maryland on the vault. Now on the floor for Brown.
And this is Sophia Dewar on floor for Brown. Fun routine. Brown's performance quality on floor. And they have a nice variety in their choreography and their music. I really enjoy that.
Now back on the bars.
This is Gia Graver for New Hampshire. Nice full pirouette. Just a little hop on the double back, but I love how she finished that pirouette in handstand. Campbell Marr on beam for Penn here. And she shares the school record with sister McKaylee, who will go after her. But so pretty to watch on this event. Look at the stretch right on that back handspring layout step out. And again, nice correction, was off on that aerial. Oh, and just had needed to sink her heels in a bit more on landing, but such pretty qualities in that beam routine.
So on the floor here for Brown, Maya Davis, the sophomore from Brooklyn, New York.
And just another one of those routines, so pretty. You don't see that classical style very often in college gymnastics, and I really enjoy that. Just some score updates for you. University of Maryland in the clubhouse, as it were, with 49-2 on vault. Not quite what they did on Thursday, but still really solid start for them.
Maryland had a season high 49-3, so appearing to come up short of that season high by just 0.1. Nonetheless, a strong performance on the vault for the Terrapins today. Led by Alexis Rubio, posting a 9.925. Reese McClure a 9.85. And then Emma Silverman, 9.825. Everybody over 9.65. And now back on the balance beam.
And this is Sierra Bauman for New Hampshire on bars. She's competing in exhibition here. Nice connection in that Jaeger to overshoot. Really nice routine, very clean throughout. Just a couple of minor breaks, but pretty dismount as well. Really solid rotation for New Hampshire. McKaylee Marr here for Penn on beam. She did have a fall on Thursday, so let's see how she can rebound here. Super solid on that back handspring layout step out. And that's where she had the problem on Thursday. Again, was just a little off in her hips, but managed to correct it today. And just not only great stretch, but nice height in that switch leap. Eligibility to go to the University of Michigan next year. The Ivy League does not allow the fifth-year COVID eligibility, so really great for McKaylee that she's able to use that, go to one of those gymnastics powerhouses, and she's going to make an impact in the Michigan beam lineup.
Especially being that the Ivy League lost that season amid the pandemic, so to be able to actually get that final year of eligibility at the Big Ten level. Little preview of it in the Big Ten arena right now.
Absolutely, yeah. And I would have to say Penn is just one of those programs. They are on the rise. It's really exciting to see them. You know, when I talk to the coaching staff, they really are setting the goal for this program to qualify to regionals. Not going to happen this year, but they're certainly on that trajectory. And if they would, I'm pretty sure they would be the first Ivy League team to qualify to regionals as a team. Remember, individuals can qualify to regionals and nationals as well as the team. But from the team perspective, they're not quite in that scoring threshold, but they're pushing it.
So we are near the conclusion of the first rotation. We have an exhibition coming up on the beam with Bella Garrett.
And we do
for
still
Penn.
and we have one more scoring routine for Brown
On the floor.
Julia Bedell. And hopefully we can catch some of her routine because it is spectacular.
So Bella Garrett with the exhibition here on the beam. And simultaneously, Brown, final round of the floor exercise with Julia Bedell.
And this is cool, this handstand down to the 2 layout step outs. So, such a cool combination. Just some struggle through her dance series there. Really difficult tumbling, does a 2-pass routine, but her 2-pass routine is a full in and a punch front through to a double back. So I know there's a little bit of controversy around should 2-pass routines be allowed in NCAA, and my own personal perspective is I think that 2-pass routines are okay as long as you have one of those more challenging passes like an E-level pass. She opened with that full twisting double back. Of course, 2-pass routines are allowed in NCAA gymnastics, but really cool to see Julia Bedell tied the program record earlier this season with a 9.925, tied with a gymnast you might have heard of before, Alicia Sacramone-Quinn, 2008 Olympian. So getting a look at some of those huddles there as we wrap up the action for this first rotation.
All 6 Brown gymnasts have performed their floor routines, so that will put a wrap on the first rotation. Unofficially right now, Maryland a 49.225, New Hampshire a 48.975 on bars, Penn a 48.775 on beam, and then Brown a 48.25 to start the afternoon on the floor. Not much separation early on here at the Terp quad, but strong performances from each team in their first rotation.
Yeah, I think that, for New Hampshire is going to be really pleased with how they started, just pushing that 49 mark. Of course, Maryland, we've already seen that's been adjusted up to a 49.225, so they'll be pleased with that start. Penn and Brown have been better on those, their respective events that they started on, so a little bit of room to, but still some really pretty routines within that. So will be really exciting. Lots of gymnastics left here.
Exactly. To go a little more specifically, New Hampshire, Alyssa Bollier led the Wildcats with a 9.875 on bars. Kylie Gorgani a 9.825. No one had lower than a 9.175 for New Hampshire. On the beam, McKaylee
Yeah, and I gotta say, some of those beam scores feel a little low to me. I would have had Belkoff probably and Kuhn a little higher than that. But, solid rotation for Penn.
definitely was. I mean, anytime nobody gets below a 9.6, you're starting off in a good spot. And then on the floor for Brown is strong as well. Maya Davis, the strongest, a 9.85 unofficially.
And I think that we're still just waiting for the score for Julia Bedell. So that score will be updated. They'll be able to drop. We didn't catch it on the broadcast, but we had Carol Ann Van Zandt, who had a fall, and so that they'll be able to drop that score.
So because she fell, they'll drop that score and then just include the others.
Yeah, Julia Bedell, whose score hasn't gone through on stat broadcast yet, I believe, that her score will certainly outpace that. So I think we'll expect to see Brown increase their team total.
So currently it's a 48-2-5 for the Bears. We're in between rotations while they get ready for the next rotation. We'll take a short break. We'll be back in a moment. You're watching Gymnastics on Big Ten Plus. Time for the second rotation here at Xfinity Center as Maryland will head to the bars, Brown on the vault, New Hampshire on the beam, and Penn will take the floor. The seniors for these Maryland Terrapins got to be honored before today's meet, and some of these gymnasts really have done a lot for this program.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of these gymnasts, we're going to see them all today. We will see them all either in the competitive lineup or the ever put on a leotard, but this senior class really has contributed not only a lot of routines, but Brett Nelligan really talks about their leadership in the gym as well.
And it's interesting the journey that this class has had compared to any other class, because they came in their freshman year, started to have that season, but never really got it in 2020. Then they come back for their sophomore year. There were no fans here at Xfinity Center all year, and then it wasn't until their junior year they actually had their first full season of competition. And so for especially Emma Silverman, Aleka Chiknius, Alexis Rubio, who have been a key part of this team throughout that time, really have experienced a lot in their time here at Maryland.
Absolutely. And getting started on beam here with Sierra Bauman.
New Hampshire had a 48.775 on beam last time out. Bauman at 9.625.
Smooth connection in that aerial to back handspring. Into front toss. I would have liked to see a little bit higher legs on the cat leap, but she controlled it nicely. Goes for that difficult sheep jump. Little leg separation, but again, I love the difficulty. Nice opening routine for New Hampshire.
So on the floor for Penn, Carly Oniki getting it started.
Nice control of that combination pass. Events where the endurance can really be a factor, especially in a double meet weekend.
Brett Nelligan talking it over with Victoria Gatzendorfer before she hops onto the bars. Rhea LeBlanc led it off for the Terrapins.
And LeBlanc had some challenges in her routine, caught her Jaeger pretty close, weren't able to catch that on screen. Again, trying to bring you as much action as we can here. Victoria Gatzendorfer did have a fall last week on her pack salto, so we'll keep an eye for that. She's got this Maloney pack salto combination off the top of her routine. Smooth connection there. Leg separation, but keeps it going nicely. Wow, really nice to see her rebound from that fall on Thursday. Great routine. Ariana Argarwala here for Penn on floor. They have had some shakeups in their floor lineup. Maybe just a bit shy on that double pike, but covers it nicely. And you'll be able to see Umiel Maman here in the background on vault for Brown. Over the past couple years, getting those twisting vaults in, really nice to see. Tasha Brzezowski here on bars for Maryland. Little bit shy of that Failed to handstand, but keeps it moving nicely. A nice double layout. More recent addition to the scoring lineup. Elizabeth DeBarbery took an awkward fall at Big Fives on bars and just resting her out of precaution, which I think is a really great coaching strategy. But really nice to see Brzezowski stepping into that lineup. And another nice full twisting Yurchenko for Brown there.
Had a shakeup in the lineup right before the meet, so unsure exactly how it was matching up there. But anyway, on the floor, it's Alyssa Rosen up for Penn.
And that was Abby Cantello for Brown with that full twisting Yurchenko.
Good song choice she's got here for a routine.
Nice double layout to recover. But tough break for Maryland, not one they're going to want to count.
So back to the beam. That'll wrap up that performance. All right, so about halfway or so through this third rotation, most have had about 3 or 4 gymnasts go at this point.
And that was Summer Simpkins wrapping things up on beam for New Hampshire. You know, beam, a challenging event for New Hampshire. It's been a pain point for them this season, even though they have traditionally been known as a beam team. Some really beautiful beam workers we'll see towards the end of this lineup, in particular, Alyssa Worthington, one of my favorite beam workers in NCAA gymnastics.
She's up 5th on the beam for UNH. Emma Silberman having just before she competes, talking it through with Brett Nelligan.
Well, and this is a challenging position because, you know, they did have that Sierra Kondo had that struggle in her bar transition, and so really on Silberman now. I see a 9-2 flashing for Kondo, so it's up to Silberman now to right the ship. But she's such a cool competitor for Maryland, very capable on this event.
The Terps all-arounder, talking about her 4 years here, had to overcome an injury during her time here earlier in her college career, and Coach Nelligan always says how hard that she worked to get back onto the mat competing. And now a star for this team, the all-arounder.
And Alyssa Bollier in the background there for New Hampshire. Wow, that's the best I've seen her. one of those gymnasts went from competing floor a little bit last season to being an all-arounder this season. So, you know, when I talked to Coach Lindsay Brocayat, she was just so proud of the progress this gymnast has made. And really nice dismount there. Good to see New Hampshire getting back into the swing of things after those struggles they had on beam earlier in the season. And Lindsay Brocayat was honest with me. She said, you know, we had to kind of reset. And we took the practice beam into our one of our competition arenas, did a lot of pressure sets, and I think that's paying off for them.
Next up on floor, it's going to be Emma Davies for Penn. Maryland still has Aleka Chiknius about to go on the bars, and then a couple of exhibitions. The beam, like we said, Alyssa Worthington was up 5th, and then Robin Kelly. Both of them are two of the Wildcats' strongest gymnasts. And there is Chiknius.
Huge height on that Jaeger. So lovely. Nice work in that bail to handstand as well. And you see Worthington getting started here on beam as well. Just that slide back, but man, she's beautiful on bars. Really smooth connection in that unusual aerial to back handspring, and I love the flexibility she shows. Career high 9.975. Jumps. Wow, great set for Alyssa Worthington. They are stoked about that one.
So Emma Davies here on the floor led the team with a 9.825 last time.
Nice final pass there to close as we cut back to Maryland here.
Maryland in exhibition now, Sophia LeBlanc, the first.
Little low on that Ginger, but keeps swinging out of it. Nice routine for her there in that exhibition spot. Again, just would have liked to see a little bit more height on the Ginger, but really good to see her working and pushing towards that lineup spot.
And love to see Maryland supporting its senior who gets to compete in that exhibition. Sophia LeBlanc, Austin Lacasse will be up next. Another two of the seniors being honored today for Maryland. On the beam here, it is Robin Kelly closing it out for New Hampshire.
And she's so pretty to watch on this event as well. Triple series. Oh, I must have jinxed her. Pretty front toss. Nice dismount, but goes for that really difficult Just a little short on that landing of the double pike, but controls it. And cutting back here
Yeah,
to Bart.
this Austin Lacasse up here for Maryland in her exhibition.
And Lacasse, another one of those seniors, and really nice to see those seniors. Hasn't had a lot of competition in lineup this season, and great to see her being celebrated by her teammates tonight as well.
Tell the teammates are fired up to see their seniors right after both Lacasse's exhibition and Rhea LeBlanc's.
And fans, get all your up-to-the-minute news on Maryland athletics. Check out umterps.com. Scores and stories are updated today, so log on today to follow the Terps. And Solomon I.
We are back here at Xfinity Center, the Terp Quad. Sorry for the technical difficulties we had there at the end of the second rotation. We are currently in between the second and third rotations. I'm Shane Connick alongside Christina Chauvenet. And Maryland remains out in front with an unofficial 9.8125 right now.
Yeah, you know, I think that Maryland on pace for a 196, not on pace for that 197, had a couple hiccups on bars, but still, you know, they have a really good national qualifying score right now. They will qualify to regionals. I'm not sure if they're mathematically locked, but they're at least realistically locked. So, you know, really strong. You know, they're just, for them now, it's just if they can improve as they move towards Big Tens and move into postseason. And they did struggle on beam at Big Fives, and they came back really strong on Thursday. So it will be interesting to see how they react here on beam. Can be a really pretty event for them.
So the Terps, like we said, still out in front. Unofficial score as it stands halfway through. New Hampshire a 9.7725, Penn a 9.7375, and then Brown a 97.3.
Yeah, and so if you look at those, you know, both New Hampshire pacing not quite at a 196, but at a high 195 right now. Penn also pacing, you know, really nicely, would be another good score for them. Brown and Penn, they're going to be neck and neck. They compete together. Remember, with the Ivies, they have the Ivy Classic, which is the competition for the 4 schools that have gymnastics in the Ivy League, but they also compete in their conferences, the Gymnastics East Conference, or the GEC. Penn are the defending champions there. Brown certainly looking to challenge them. So it's interesting to see these two teams. As I mentioned, Brown had a slower start, but has really picked up as the season moved off, and they're doing really well today.
So just over a minute until we begin the third rotation. It's going to be Penn on the vault, Brown will be on the bars, Maryland on the beam, and UNH on the floor. Highest individual score of the day right now is Aleka Chiknius with a 9.9. Or it's not the highest, it would be Alexis Rubio with a 9.925 on the vault.
And Alyssa Worthington on beam, also matching that 9.925 I talked about. How pretty she is on beam. Really nice to see her settling in. And Alexis Rubio, you know, really has had really nice dynamics on her vault, but hadn't stuck it yet this season. So nice to see that. Aleka Chiknius getting that 9.9 on bars. I mean, just really nice single bar work there. And Maya Davis, wonderful floor worker for Brown, currently the highest floor score, 9.85 there.
Other difficulty and bonus skills will be done to achieve the 10-0 start value.
About 20 seconds or so until the next rotation will begin. Leading off for Penn on the vault is going to be Rose DeBarbery.
Yeah, and so, you know, one of the things that's been interesting about the Penn, they've had some shakeups in their lineup, Penn on vault, but they used a lot of the Ivies did not compete during 2021. That COVID time, several of their athletes upgraded their vaults, got more twisting vaults, getting those 99995 start values, and that is really important to boost those vault scores compared to, for example, the Yurchenko layout that's only out of a 975 start.
So Emma Silverman's going to lead it off for Maryland on the beam. Silverman, as usual, competing in the all-around. We'll see her at each of the 4 events. And so the order for the Terps on the beam here: Emma Silverman, Olivia Weir, Reese McClure, Victoria Gatzendorfer, Maddie Komarovsky, Josephine Kogler, and then Sophia LeBlanc will get another exhibition along with fellow senior Alexis Rubio.
And Emma Silverman in this leadoff spot, she did have a fall on Thursday. So Maryland really was in the hole. They started on beam on Thursday. Silverman fell, and the rest of the lineup really picked that up. So it'll be interesting to see. She's very capable on this event, just had some troubles on her series. She does that back handspring layout, step out.
And there, all right. Rose DeBarbery on the vault.
And DeBarbery doing that full twisting Yurchenko we've seen so many athletes do today. Pretty big hop back, but got really nice height and distance on that vault. Silverman here going for that series. No problem today. Great control in that switch split straddle quarter. One of those popular combinations, ways to garner bonus. Pace forward on that dismount, but she's going to be happy about that one. Really important for those athletes, you know, coming off a fall, reset, she hit the series, great job. And this is going to be an exciting vault to see here. In the 2 spot, we've got Olivia Van Horn. She's been in and out of the Penn vault lineup. She is capable of doing that really difficult front pike with a half. Not sure if we're going to see that today or see her do the easier version of that vault, the front pike, and that starts out of a 9.9. Just a little weight here for the vault judges, but looks like she's about to be underway.
A lot going on. Back on the beam, Olivia Weir, and now here we go.
Yeah, and goes with the front pike. I think that's a smart decision because she had been struggling with the front pike half, getting it all around. So to get her back into the lineup, feeling good with that front pike, we'll see if she upgrades to the pike half later this season.
On the bars here, it'll be Paige Richter up second.
And Weir underway on the background, in the background on beam. slow on landing, but does that combination work into it, the full pirouette into the double back to Weir on beam. Again, I know I sound like a broken record. I would like to see a little more height on that cat leap, which is an area that a lot of gymnasts struggle with. But Weir has some really cool elements in this routine, including right here. Check that out. The switch split jump, you don't see that very often, really powerful. And again, B jump into layout step. I was a little off, but she handled it. Really nice routine from Weir, and as I mentioned, I just like the different elements she does in her routine.
And now on the floor, Gracie Mowers up second after Alyssa Worthington led it off for New Hampshire.
I absolutely love New Hampshire on this event. Such a fun, artistic team.
So on the bars here, it's Lauren McEwen for Brown.
And hits a nice double layout there for Brown. You know, Brown, though they're unlikely to qualify for NCAA regionals, they do also compete in the USAG Nationals. That's for the Ivy League teams and Division II teams. So will be interesting to see how they do there as well.
So this is Reese McClure up on the beam for Maryland.
Little slow in that connection from the aerial to back handspring, but very pretty form throughout. And again, that popular switch, split, straddle quarter combination. This is the highlight of the routine for me. Just lovely dismount, that gainer front 1.5. Really rarely see that.
And now on the vault,
and that's
Campbell Marr.
Yeah, just got a little extra juice off the table there. It couldn't quite control the landing, but one of those vaults that's been upgraded that she learned during COVID.
Robin Kelly performing her floor routine for New Hampshire.
Just catching the end of Kelly's routine there, but really pretty. As I mentioned, I really do like to see New Hampshire work on floor because they are so artistic. We're going to see in the next spot, we're going to see Kennedy Brown does her own choreography on floor, and really fun to watch there as well.
So next up on the beam, it's going to be Victoria Gatzendorfer. Also, Penn nearly through its vault already. Kirsten Belkoff will anchor, and then an exhibition from Sarah Kennefic. And here's Gatzendorfer.
Pretty mount. Another one of those athletes doing the triple series. Back handspring, layout step out. Really solid on that landing. And check this out, goes for the ring jump. Would like to see her get her head back further on that ring jump, but so difficult. Gatzendorfer, the transfer from Missouri, and really nice to see her coming into her own here at Maryland. Lovely landing there on that gainer pike. Nice to see Maryland regaining their confidence. Back to Kennedy Brown on floor.
This is Kennedy Brown.
And it's just such a fun routine. Nice ending pass there. That's their stick paraphernalia. They got the stick chain. But yeah, does all of her own choreography. Really fun and cool to watch there.
So on the bars here, Ella Poli just went. Now down to Asta Farrell.
Yeah, and I believe it was Abby Cantello we missed in the interim. Did have a fall, so some pressure on Farrell there in that anchor spot.
Just a heads up that please ask the members of the Maryland gymnastics team during the 80s to start making your way down to the floor at the bottom of section 130.
And taking a look at associate head coach Erin Dooley there. Having a couple of, she's the lead beam coach for Maryland, giving Maddie Komorowski just a couple final cues.
Erin Dooley always coaches the Terps on this routine.
Yeah, she is the primary beam coach for Maryland, and Komorowski so pretty to watch on this event. You can really see it just from the onset, from her mount. How pretty. And I love her releve work here as well. Just these little details. So maybe just a little off on that back handspring layout step out, but sunk into the correction. Really confident in that aerial. She's such a fluid beam worker. Just something I really enjoy about her work. Goes for this difficult sheep jump. Does a good job of getting her head back in that position. She's worked really well through this routine. Let's see if she can stick the dismount here. 1.5. Oh, just needed to sink her heels in a little bit more to get that full stick, but pretty routine. Kylie Gorgani on floor here.
So on the floor here, we're down to Kylie Gorgani.
And she's so powerful. there. And really nice routine from Gorgani. Had a nice double pike to open as well. And we're going to see an exciting thing to look for in the next rotation. I saw her warm up a Yurchenko 1.5. Whether she'll do the full or the 1.5 depends on if the athletes in front of her hit. So we'll see if we can catch that.
So on the beam, Josephine Kogler up now for Maryland. She will be anchoring this rotation, and then Terp's planning on having a couple of exhibitions afterward. Kogler, the final gymnast of this rotation for Maryland, that'll count, and then the same thing goes on the floor where Alyssa Bollier will close things out for New Hampshire. The other two, vault and bars, are complete.
Kogler also one of those athletes capable of getting into the 9-9 range. And again, really solid landing on that triple series, back handspring, layout step out. Love this front walkover, so cool. Good stretch in those split positions. Overturned that, full turn just a little bit. Oh, and has to step forward out of the gainer full, but pretty work on the beam.
So Alyssa Bollier closing it out on the floor. Nice control on that Rudy 2 finish. Really nice job there. Amanda Fillard, who is the assistant coach at New Hampshire and does the choreography there, really does a really good job of working with the gymnasts to come up with a routine that fits their style. So on the bars here, we'll have nobody on there. I was confused for a second, but on the beam, we have an exhibition. Sophia LeBlanc getting her turn for Maryland.
Nice series there. Again, one of those Maryland seniors that are being honored today as part of their senior day. Goes for a difficult combination there. Didn't hit the split position in the switch half, but keeps it moving into the beat jump.
The city's gonna break my heart. The city's gonna love me and leave me alone. The city's got me chasing stars. It's been a couple months since I felt like I'm home. And we're getting closer to knowing where I belong. The city's gonna break my heart.
Sinks into that gainer full, really nice landing, good for her.
Good to see another strong performance from LeBlanc. And now on the floor, it is Riley Himes performing an exhibition for the New Hampshire Wildcats.
chest position in that double back, but hangs on to the landing. Another fun routine and exhibition. And we do have one more exhibition on beam.
It's Alexis Rubio.
Such a tricky combination, that punch front from standing, connected that well to the back handspring. Tricky jump combination there, and held it well. That was nice to see because she has struggled on that this season. Rubio, of course, coming off of that 9.925 she got on vault. Little step on that landing, but really nice job. Love that unique series. I mean, to do the punch front from standing is so difficult.
So that will just about conclude the first 3 rotations. We'll get you the scores when we return from Xfinity Center. It's time for the final rotation here at Xfinity Center as Maryland remains out in front. We got the final rotation coming up. Terps will be on the floor just as they always end their home meets. It'll be New Hampshire on the vault, Penn on the bars, and Brown on the beam. And Christina, Maryland coming off just now putting up a season high on the beam.
Yeah, 49.3 for Maryland on beam. I do have to say, a couple of those routines were a little bit high for me. I would have had them maybe a tenth lower, 2/10 lower. But that's not to take anything away from the routines. The routines themselves were great, really solid. And as I mentioned, good for Maryland to continue to build back their confidence on beam, which was that problem event for them at Big Fives. And they have an opportunity to finish really strong here on floor. They are a very powerful tumbling team, have a lot of those double salto passes, and just we're going to keep an eye on the dance elements, making sure that they're hitting those 180-degree splits and getting those turns all the way around. But definitely a way for them to end on a really high note.
All 6 Maryland gymnasts had at least a 9.8 on the beam that time. On the floor for the Terrapins, it's going to be Taylor Reck, Rhea LeBlanc, Maddie Komarovsky, Taylor Osterhout, Emma Silberman, and Reese McClure. And then afterward, Shanice Serrata and Austin Lacasse are scheduled to take exhibitions.
Yeah, and we are not going to see Alexa Rothenbuscher on floor tonight. Didn't see her on vault. She is usually in the vault lineup, but when they were at Temple on Thursday, took a little bit of a ankle cruncher landing on a double pike in warm-ups, and so they are resting her. I think that's a really smart decision. You know, they have those solid scores that they need, as I mentioned, moving into regionals, pretty much locked at this point. And so I think that that's smart. They want her to be feeling good and healthy for the postseason. You see Brown getting set there, finishing on beam.
Yeah, for Brown, it'll be Lauren Kramer, Lauren McCune, Maya Davis, Lisa Marcus, Abby Contello, and Angela Zing. And there is Taylor Reck.
And Taylor Reck, one of the athletes training an upgrade. We will not see it here, but she is training a double layout. So something to keep your eye on for future, but is a very powerful, very capable lead-off gymnast here in her tumbling. Rotated on that double back. From Sarah Kennefic, unfortunately, in the leadoff spot for Penn on bars. Yeah, not the sharpest I've seen from Rec, just a little bit. I mean, again, it's a dual meet weekend, and this is a place where some endurance will show up, so just didn't have that landing on her double back that she wanted, but moving to the end of Kennefic's routine, and I love that flyaway double full, but unfortunately she did have a fall.
On the vault here, Serena Mullen.
And this is a really important rotation for New Hampshire. They struggled on vault at Temple, at Penn. So good to see them coming back strong here. They really need to, they missed some of their blocks, didn't get some of the amplitude that they need off the table, so good vault there for them.
Leia Moreno opened it for New Hampshire, then Serena Mullen you just saw there. For Maryland on the floor, there is Rhea LeBlanc about to go. Also, Penn, Sarah Kennefic got it started on the bars. It'll be Marissa Lassiter up next there. And on the beam, Lauren Kramer went first for Brown, and then Lauren McEwen about to go up next. Here is Rhea LeBlanc on the floor.
Black control in that front double full, but handles it. Great control of that Rudy to finish there. JJ Contreras and Brett Nelligan really psyched about that one.
On the bars here, Marissa Lassiter just went for Penn. She was up second.
Getting set for Kristen Kuhn here on bars. She has this Tkachev-Paxalto combination. Really tricky, and we're going to see if she can keep her legs together in the Paxalto on transition to low bar. Here comes the Tkachev. And yeah, leg separation on that Paxalto, but keeps it moving. Oh, and good job for her muscling up there through that half. That's going to be a sizable deduction, but she avoided a fall. Yeah, labored there in that half pirouette, but great fight.
So Kristen Kuhn threw. That was a third for Penn on the beam here. It'll be Liza Marcus going up after Maya Davis, Lauren McEwen, Lauren Kramer have gone.
Smooth work through that full turn. Hangs on to that back handspring layout step out.
Yeah, sorry, this is Maya Davis right now.
Oh, too bad. Was pretty far off in her hips there in that aerial. She does have has some really lovely qualities on beam, but just could not save that one. Sticks the dismount, but she's not gonna be happy with that one.
Here on the vault, Kylie Gorgani.
Goes for that 1.5 has to take that pace forward, but I mean, it's really great for her to, you can see her teammates are stoked about that one. It's the first time she's done the 1.5 this season, and in order for her to feel comfortable with that at Eagle Championships, and if she advances to regionals as an individual, you got to get that out on the competition floor, and she definitely got it all the way around, just needs to work on controlling that landing. Yeah, Maya Davis, unfortunate fall there for Brown because she is a really pretty beam worker.
It'll be Maddie Komarovsky up next Maddie Komarovsky just went. Taylor Osterhout coming up next for Maryland on the floor.
Nice control there out of that double back. Misses the ring position in that leap. Extra power in that double pike, but controls it. Showcases great power with those 2 double salto passes. One area I'd like to see a little more attention in the dance, and the performance quality, which is something in a couple of these Maryland routines I mentioned coming into this rotation is an area of growth for them, I think. Sky Carrico finishing there for Penn on bars.
Only one more for the Quakers after, as McKaylee Marr will be up after.
And McKaylee Marr, such a pretty bar worker. Gonna showcase some of the same lines that she did on beam on bars. But Carrico did that nice full twisting double back, didn't catch the earlier part of her routine, but nice dismount there.
Emma Silberman, like you said, the all-arounder. We'll see her one last time today. It'll be on the floor.
rotation. Maloney to bail handstand. Might have been a bit shy on the handstand on the low bar, but nice handstand as she comes back up. Let's see if she can get the stick on this double layout. Wow, drills that. She's stoked about that one, as are her teammates. Really pretty way to cap off the scoring rotation for Penn on bars.
So Angela Zing will round it out on the beam here for Brown. So Angela Zing has already gone. Now we're at the exhibition, Sophia Sokolowski.
Pretty back handspring layout, 2 feet there. And sorry, this is Zing here on beam. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Doing that layout step out work. Hangs on there. She is one of their beam specialists. Does contribute occasionally on other events, but really beam is her primary event. And you can see why it just has such great qualities here. Double full rocks that landing. Really lovely. Reese McClure here on floor for Maryland. Set for her final tumbling pass here. A little bit of form in that front layout, but hangs on to the landing. She's so fun to watch on this event.
Terps fired up after Reese McClure closes it out, and now Sophia Sokolowski with an exhibition for Brown.
Rocks that back handspring layout step out. Tricky double stag. Didn't quite hold on to it, but really cool to see. Under rotates that aerial, but hangs on to the landing. Just a little bounce back, some things to clean up in that routine, but did a nice job when she was off of making those corrections.
And so we'll have an exhibition. Shanice Serrata will be up here for Maryland, and then Austin Lacasse. Serrata, a freshman.
Nice control out of that double back. spike, but is able to control it in that lunge out of it. You know, Maryland floor lineup is so deep. They've got such great tumbling, so difficult to break into that, but somebody who really could step into a lineup spot. We talk about the seniors that they're losing this season.
And to have a freshman come in and do that, exactly.
Yeah, so we'll look to see her in the scoring lineup next season.
Definitely promising to be able to be getting on the mat in a meet of this magnitude as a freshman. And now we'll have a senior, Austin Lacasse, round things out for Maryland. The other 3 events have finished, so this is the final routine of the afternoon.
And you just love to see the support for the seniors on senior night.
Terps have been particularly excited about them all afternoon.
Just doing a dance through, you know, senior night, so really fun for them to get out and be able to do these routines. Austin Lacasse there, and it's so special to see, you know, the athletes that don't make the lineup as often work just as hard as the athletes that are in the lineup week in, week out, and so to see those athletes celebrated on senior day and just to see them enjoy that, it's always a special moment for me. I get emotional watching it.
And especially we were talking earlier about this senior class and how much they've been through with COVID and season cancellations and no fans and everything, and still having to work just as hard as all the gymnasts around them and then have their moment on the mat in some way. So that is the conclusion of this meet. Maryland, a 196.95 unofficially.
Yeah, Maryland really pushing towards, as I mentioned, that 197 threshold, something they've been reaching towards, did not quite get there. And as I said, I think they had a strong performance. I wouldn't have had it as high as a 196.95, but still really strong performance for them, building confidence as they move towards postseason. And, you know, I think that a lot, the other teams that are here, you know, New Hampshire, 195.6, again, not in that their season high, but a very solid outing for them, and they really overcame some challenges that they had on vault on Thursday.
Maryland, specifically on that floor routine that it just had, Maryland totals a 49.525.
Yeah, an absolutely huge score there for Maryland. That is their season high and comes 1/4 short of being their program high. Shout out to Drew Porsche at Talent Stats on Twitter for helping me with all of these statistical pieces. I love to dig into the data, so congratulations to Maryland on floor. And as we look at the other, you know, talked about the battle with Penn and Brown. Penn cracking into that 195-1, capped off by some really pretty performances. McKaylee Marr on bars, 9-9 there, so really pretty to see. Brown, 194-625, not quite as good as we saw from them at the Ivy Classic, but still a lot of pieces of gymnastics to be really proud of today.
Absolutely, a strong gymnastics meet overall, and Maryland, a strong performance to win it with a 196.95. Shout out to our director today, Jacob Hunting, pushing all the buttons behind the scenes. Know we had some technical difficulties along the way, but we're able to bring this meet to you on this busy Sunday in College Park. So shout out to Jacob on that. For my partner, Christina Chauvenet, our entire crew, we're not done yet. We have the award ceremony coming up next, but we'll hand it over to the public address announcer. But for our entire crew, I'm Shane Connick saying so long from College Park. Award ceremony coming up next.